The opportunity to comment on this bill, and I also express my condolences again to my brother, Senator. And I would like to begin by recognizing that Boda Boda originated in Busia. So this is a very important motion for the people of Busia, and I would request that Senator Khalwale finds a way of having the state erect a memorial to the unknown to the unknown first Boda Boda rider. And the monument should be established or erected in Busia, where Boda Boda came from. Number two, when you look at the industry, that a lot of people have gone into it, a lot of youngsters, and the main challenge for me is the training. Many Boda Boda riders don't have licenses. I don't know if it's called riding licenses or driving licenses, but they don't have them. And I think given the impact of the absence of licenses on public health through injury and deaths, I would request that maybe as a public health measure, the state steps forward to underwrite or to subsidize the training of motorcycle riders across the country, so that poverty cannot be an excuse for not having a driving license or a riding license. And it would be not a waste of public funds, because the recovery in terms of prevention of what otherwise then becomes medical care or burial expenses for those who fall victim to the accidents would be much, much less than the money that would be required to equip and train these people to be efficient riders on the road. The other thing that this country needs to do very seriously is we need to get to the point whereby we realize that it's not only people who drive motor vehicles who pay taxes. And therefore, there is no justification for building roads only for people who drive motor vehicles. We must build roads for pedestrians and cyclists. The idea that Boda Boda have to struggle and fight for space on roads used by four-wheeled vehicles is in itself not a good thing, and one of the reasons why many fatalities occur when you get motor vehicle versus motorcycle collisions. So I would urge that we need to come up with road designs and build roads for all taxpayers, those who cannot afford motor vehicles but walk on foot. You will see in Nairobi every morning when you go along Bagadi Way, and every evening, we have people who walk from Kibra, from Kawangware, going to industrial area. They don't have a place to walk. They have to keep on struggling on the edge of the road. Some get occasionally knocked down by motor vehicles. And this is something that needs to be addressed, that the road design must be inclusive. Our constitution, one of the national values of this country, is inclusivity, and Article 10. Further, much as Boda Boda is important, we must wake up to the fact that Nairobi cannot continue being run by Boda Boda. Nairobi requires a proper public transport system. I've never gone to any country, any serious country where the capital city runs on Boda Boda like Nairobi. We need to get a proper public transport system in Nairobi. It's a strategic requirement. It cannot wait. Public transport is a key component of human resource. Our human resources need to be able to move freely and easily across. So we must not be waiting to modernize on motorcycles. That will be a stopgap measure, but going forward, our cities must be weaned off the need to rely on motorcycles and the like. I've got a small problem on Section 13, Clause 1D, which says every passenger on a two-wheeled motorcycle shall sit astride in the seat fixed behind the rider's seat. That statement has got cultural implications. In some areas, our sisters may not be comfortable sitting astride the motorcycle, unless we are going to insist that they wear trousers. So we have to be sensitive to the dressing of women because they are women. we must be sensitive to that because it's a cultural issue that we cannot make a law that offends some cultures. Let us be sensible, and maybe we may find a better word for that. And even you can imagine, in almost all situations, I don't see a situation, unless a lady is wearing a trouser, to force her to sit astride on a motorcycle might demand her to expose more flesh than she's comfortable doing. So let us look at that. And just like you have done at 13.1b, 13.2b, where it says persons with disabilities will be exempted from the requirement to sit astride while being carried. The Lord put on the petrol tank and on the control bars, and then leave the rear to carry other things. So I would ask my brother to look at that, if you can address that kind of loading of motorcycles. I think in terms of motorcycle ambulances, there's a requirement that they will be operated by trained medical personnel. Now, I don't know what trained medical personnel is. Maybe there will be need to look at that. And I also don't know whether we shall be requiring medical doctors to be operating these motorcycles. So I think maybe there's need to do some clarification on that particular provision so that we can know what's the role of this trained medical personnel on these motorcycle ambulances. So they are talking of paramedics to be done to operate these vehicles or not. Let us get some clarification. The other thing is that in terms of delivery vehicles and passenger vehicles, in terms of border, what I know is that sometimes, because of the limitation in business opportunity, many border riders act both as delivery agents and also as a passenger vehicles. So maybe the Honorable Halwale should look at that and see how he could capture that unique aspect of border. Because one of the interesting qualities of border is that they end up doing everything. Some people even use them for plowing, these motorcycles. So I think it will need to be a bit of some creativity around that to be able to govern that. Otherwise, this is, to me, is an excellent bill whose time is long overdue and which ought to have come with the lifting when Mr. Okiya was the Minister for Finance, and they lifted the tax on the motorcycles, which led to the motorcycles being affordable to ordinary people, and therefore the expansion of border and the winning out of bicycles. Maybe at that time they should have looked at this and made such a bill to be able to regulate this area. And it's a very, very important law whose time is long overdue, and I support it with amendments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.